Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode number 9 of the ACG Show and Tell Social Mixer Summer Series. My name is Rosa. I'm your host and organizer of the ACG Social Mixer Network, and I thank you all for joining us on this episode. And again, these episodes are sponsored by Tokyo Bronx. So we'll be doing a lot of work with Tokyo Bronx as we, ACG Social Mixer Network, or myself, and I am an affiliate brand with Tokyo Bronx. So we're going to be having a lot of collaborative, creative endeavors going on, from doing graffiti work, from doing community events. We're doing lots of collaborations with other creatives all throughout the boroughs or throughout the country, even internationally, which you saw with our last guest. We spoke to Mary, who is the author of Mimi and Friends. She's originally from Germany, and she joined us in Canada last week. So we do thank her for joining us, and also everyone who's been with us these past 8 episodes and also last season as well. So we're bringing in our guests, Anime for Humanity. So we're going to be chatting with them, and I hope you can enjoy coming with us live this evening. Or if you have any questions for Anime for Humanity, you could leave them in the comments section when this goes up on Instagram TV a little bit later. So let me bring them in. Okay, invite. All right. There we go. Hi. Hello. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you. Let me adjust my camera real quick.
Yeah, it does that when you go live.
Yeah,
No problem.
I get the same. It won't cut me off too badly. Okay, I can see back a little bit. There we go.
Great. So let me formally introduce you. So this is Mary Stowe from Anime for Humanity. She is the organizer and the director at Anime for Humanity. Anime for Humanity is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's dedicated to challenging the stigma surrounding mental health and creating mental health awareness through anime, manga, cosplay, and video games. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so where are you joining us from?
So I am based in the greater Los Angeles area in Southern California. We have quite a few volunteers that are out here as well as our founder, Ben. So I'm kind of living in where Anime for Humanity got its start.
Just tell us a little introduction of the journey and where you guys are now.
I must say you did really good. So like you said, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our goal is to challenge the stigma surrounding mental health, create mental health awareness through anime, manga, cosplay, and video games. And as I mentioned, we kind of got our start here in Southern California, and it actually started as an anime club. Our founder, Ben, was part of an anime club in college, and he just kind of saw this need, it's like there's this group of people, they all have similar interests, and people struggle, they have good days, they have bad days. And he was like, we see a lot of nonprofits that are encouraging mental health awareness through video games, comic books. He's like, but there's not an anime one. And so that's what gave him the idea to start Anime for Humanity. And whenever we're not in the pandemic, it's been kind of rocky these past almost 2 years. We travel across the country to different conventions, and we pass out free anime therapy kits at booths.
Right, yes, we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So it's interesting that, this all started out as clubs, because myself as a former teacher and also as a student, anime, you always get the opportunity to create clubs, and similar to what you see in the animes and the mangas, create your own club. And to see how this started out as a simple, okay, we're going to take this club, bring all the fans together, and just create something that, now is going national. And I think it's such an amazing thing to take what you love, together with a message, a vision, a mission, a vision, and bring that, together.
Yes. Yeah, and it's all about the community as well, the club community, and then we're just expanding it, like you said, to a more national level.
Right, so I know there's some people who are watching or going to watch later who are also creators as well, and creatives, and either they're looking to start their own business or they even have a nonprofit as well. So what made you guys want to do Anime for Humanity as a nonprofit per se, as a nonprofit organization?
Say that's probably just for the resources. We're able to reach a wider audience, We're able to fundraise to get those funds to reach more and more people, because that's where most of our fundraising goes. Is it goes right back into anime therapy kits. That's the primary thing. And then it goes back into travel expenses, booth expenses. So having the business side of it, and like I said, you get the funds, you get the money, which, I mean, businesses, that's what it all kind of comes down to eventually. But it allows you to do so much more with it as well, aside from just being a fan page, you know.
So what has been you spoke about fundraising, which is always important in both profit and not-for-profit organizations. What have been some good suggestions for fundraising events or things you have done?
We do a lot of our fundraising through Twitch. That's kind of like our video game aspect of it. We play like anime themed games, or we do some more mental health themed games. Like I've been a part of a couple fundraisers where I play Kind Words. It's a really cute game on Steam, but it's also just like lo-fi music. It's really chill, and you're actually talking, but not talking in real time to real people. Like you're sending notes to each other. Like you can just put out words of encouragement. People are able to kind of anonymously say, I'm going through a really hard time. Has anyone else been through this? And you're able to respond anonymously as well. So it's this nice, like, peer-to-peer connection. And then we do multiple campaigns throughout the year. We do Play Anime, which is our big May Mental Health Awareness Month campaign. And then we also have New Game Plus, which is our big end of year campaign. It's all about taking what you've learned and your journey from the previous year and carrying it over, all that XP into the new year.
Oh, wow. This was some amazing fundraising ideas and endeavors. You know, and I think like this, especially now with, you know, everything with the pandemic and quarantine, that was really the great time to use those platforms like Twitch and to build the momentum of, you know, fundraising, getting people to know what Anime for Humanity stands for, and build from there. So I want to go into the idea of just Anime for Humanity in regards of how do you think anime, because we compare with the love of anime, and how it has been a useful resource for you when it comes to opening those conversations and, you know, creating that safe space when it comes to mental health, and let them know it's okay to just be transparent, be vulnerable in this open space.
Right. So why anime? It's kind of that foot in the door with people. Like whenever you approach like a new Discord community, like we do have our Discord community online, when you approach a new community, a new fan base, you go to a convention for the first time, it can be really overwhelming, but it's kind of nice and reassuring to know that I'm joining a community where there's anime fans. They like the same stuff that I do. So it's easier to kind of start those initial conversations of, hi, my name is so-and-so, this is my favorite anime, this is my manga that I'm reading right now. So it's really nice, easy conversation starters to get you comfortable. And then, like I say, with our Discord community, we talk about the good days, we talk about the bad days. And so once you're more comfortable with that community, then you can open up and be like, hey guys, I'm really struggling right now, or I just had the worst day humanly possible. It's become a really important safe space for a lot of people, especially like you mentioned during the pandemic, where we're indoors all the time. We were on lockdown, and I saw with some of our new members, they need to vent about people that they were living with. It's like, I can't vent to my roommates about themselves. You know, I can't vent out to my parents, you know, about what they're doing. That's like frustrating me. So it was a nice, safe space for them to come in and just let it all out. And for like your peers, because we are all volunteer based. Most of us are not mental health professionals or mental health advocates. So it's just that peer-to-peer connection and being like, oh, I've been in a similar situation. This is how I handled it. Maybe you could try doing something similar.
Yeah, I think that's great when you find that similar connection. Like just take anime, and that's something I would do with former students of mine. Like I noticed they all have similar things. Like they loved anime, and that was the thing that connected a lot of them, because you know, I worked in the New York City public school, very culturally diverse, you know, lots of different types of students. So first day of class, they're kind of to themselves, and then why not bring something interesting into the pot? And they, you know, we started to talk about anime, and to know that, wow, they all had that love and interest to it, that just put all their differences out the window, you know. And then
that's awesome.
That little group of students, they just started spreading and talking to each other very
being very trustworthy with each other. You know, just like they would have a full day because the class would be maybe at like 12 o'clock. So they'll go through like half the day and they'll come there and they'll vent or just say something that they did that was positive, negative, you know, and they'll support each other. So, but all through just that beginnings of anime and just talking to each other about the animes they enjoy and love, and you know, even the characters. A lot of them gravitated
Right.
toward a lot of characters with the similarities and differences in that as well. What are some also we talk about anime? Do you see also similar things with also the manga community, the gaming community? Because sometimes with anime we can see it because the story-driven thing, but sometimes how do we also see that when it comes to manga and gaming communities as well?
Like the connection with the characters,
Right,
or
yeah, that and or just bringing in that conversation of mental health. How has that worked for Anime for Humanity to start those conversations in those groups?
I think it's kind of the same thing with like manga and anime because it's like one's reading, one's watching. Um, with video games, it's kind of a different experience because sometimes you're playing the character. And so
Yeah.
I don't know how other people are, but I end up putting myself into the characters sometimes, and I get really attached to characters that I play, especially in video games where you're customizing your character, you're naming your character, you're going on this journey as this character that you yourself have created. And they hit roadblocks, they hit struggles, they achieve things, they have losses. And so I think a lot of that can like lead to like self-reflection as well. And it'll be like, oh, like this really sad thing happened in the video game. This is how I'm feeling. And then you end up kind of realizing like, maybe I'm going through this in real life as well. Maybe I'm feeling the way this character is feeling, or maybe I don't like how this interaction was between these two characters, you know, because it reminds me of something that happened in real life.
Yeah, you mentioned real life, and we're also talking about COVID and the whole pandemic. How have you feel Anime for Humanity has stepped up in reaching out to their audience when it comes to just helping understand like this whole process of the pandemic and you know just everyone's emotions and you know social emotional being? How has it been?
It's it was almost overnight. Like our Discord community, we've had like a pretty good size active community for a while now, but then it was just, it felt so overnight, like membership shot up. Like all these new people were coming in. They hadn't heard of Anime for Humanity. They were just like, oh, it's an anime server. This is really cool. And so it's kind of like this education thing of like, yes, we are an anime server, but we're also a nonprofit. We talk about mental health very openly here. And so all of a sudden it goes from this certain level of activity to just like, it's going, it's going, it's going. And certain content we just don't allow. We don't allow certain topics. We do have rules for our server because you just never know what someone else is going through and how something you say as a joke could like really affect them, you know? So it was a lot of just kind of like, okay, everybody, we're just gonna remind you like about mental health, certain topics, more just being mindful of the things you put on the internet. You know, and I think that's an important lesson in every community is like, just kind of pause for like half a second before you hit the enter key, before you send that.
Yeah, so important. I'm so glad that you said that. Like, just pause for that moment, especially the mindfulness.
Yes, and it tested our patience. We had to recruit a bunch of mods very quick, some new moderators very quickly, and like thankfully we had members in the community who we trusted with that responsibility to kind of help ease tensions as they would rise up because of course, like you said, with the pandemic, like tempers flare. We're open, we're not open, there's this in the news, there's that in the news. So it's just a lot of just like, we can have these discussions, but we can do it respectfully as well.
Right. So going to that, it's like, how do you feel like Anime for Humanity has with that idea of building those safe spaces? How do you feel? Why is that so important for Anime for Humanity, or just I would say in general, to build these safe spaces and communities of talking about mental health?
I think it's important just for people to feel seen and feel heard, and have a place that they know is safe, that they know is judgment free. Like they can go and talk about like maybe they got a recent diagnosis, maybe they're really struggling, maybe they have a history that they're still battling with. And I think having that space where you feel safe, like I said, it's safe, it's judgment free. We're not going to tell you you made mistakes. We're not going to tell you you're a bad person because you think you messed up on something. We're going to say, how can I help lift you up? Is there something I can do to help lift you up? Are you just needing a space to vent? Are you just needing to feel heard? You know, because that's all it is sometimes. And that's something that I've realized about myself volunteering, is that I bottle things up a lot. And this is a community that I feel safe venting in. And it took a lot for me to like start talking more openly, like about like, I'm really having a hard time. I'm really struggling with this. But it feels really good just to get it off my chest, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, it's so important to know like the things that we have to understand about ourselves, like reaching out to others. It's like, you know, it starts with ourselves. Like, what is it about ourselves that we have to work with, and to totally understand that, okay, we work on this for ourselves, it will allow us to help other people. Yes. And I think being in that safe space, in that community, we're able to realize those things about ourselves that, you know, we could work on, and things that we should also not work on, be like, this is who I am, and, you know, this is part of the community that's going to accept me for that, and or either grow and nurture that. With the show and tell segment, I know you mentioned a couple of times about these anime therapy kits, and I believe that's how I first found out about Anime for Humanity, looking through Google, and then I noticed the website Anime for Humanity, and that you had these anime therapy kits. So do you have any in person that you can show us?
I do. I always have
one
ready.
Awesome. Oh, so, great.
This whole thing is the anime therapy kits. Like, you walk up to the booth, we're giving out this whole packet, and we also have a fortune cookie that goes with it. I don't have the fortune cookie. But we are working on revising, editing. That's kind of the silver lining of the pandemic, is like there's no convention. So we shipped which ones we could out to those who requested them. But now we're taking the time to be like, okay, what could we change? What could we edit? How could we improve this? But yeah, I can definitely go through and show everybody.
When you get to that, can you tell us, I guess, what may Anime for Humanity think of this idea? Like, hey, we're going to create these little therapy kits.
Pretty much we wanted to, when you're at like the booth, you want to have something that people can take with them, you know?
Yes.
So thinking like, what's something that people could take with them at a convention that's not overly bulky, but it's also going to make them feel good, you know? So we have this poster. It's our mascot, Key-chan.
Oh, yes, I saw the mascot. So cute.
Yeah, so she is the mascot for Anime for Humanity. She's cute. She's adorable. We love putting her on anything and everything that we can.
Thanks.
And then a flyer that was new for the most recent one. I hope we keep this.
Yeah, I was saying that was the one that interested me. The idea of post-con blues, because when you go to conventions, that's what everybody always talks about. Like, how do you cope with that? And that's what caught my attention, that one.
It's a very common topic at conventions, and we actually did talk to a doctor and got her input, Dr. Scarlett, Dr. Janina Scarlett and Dr. Denise Morales. So there was two doctors who helped us with this. And it's got like some good basic information about like, this is a normal feeling. A lot of people feel this. And it's like, you're going, and then all of a sudden Monday hits and you crash. It's just this, like,
the crash is real. Yes.
I haven't been sleeping as much as I should. I haven't been eating as much as I should. I probably haven't been eating as well as I should. And so it's kind of that little, here's how you can recover from it. And then we have just our little about the anime therapy kit, and it kind of gives you the breakdown of like what all is in the kit, and then some information about Anime for Humanity. We have a flyer for stigma-free anime, and then on the back is like why we choose anime. So this is something that we try and keep very up to date. And they're anime that have themes of mental health. Like you see the characters struggle
Yeah.
with like anxiety, depression, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's like their peers struggle with some of those things. So they're very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for funsies, we have a postcard, so you can send some snail mail
Oh,
to a friend or
nice.
family member.
Those are always so self-care, like, people still love to receive
Yeah,
those.
I love getting
Mm-hmm.
I love getting cards and mail from my friends.
Yeah.
And then we also have the crisis text number for if you do find yourself like in
Mm-hmm.
a crisis situation, or maybe you know someone, you can have this information for yourself or for
Very
others.
important.
And that's what we tell people too with these kits is like sometimes people are like, oh, can I take more than one? And we're like, absolutely. They're like, their friend is somewhere else on the show floor. And they're like, I think my friend could really use one of these as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a little bookmark.
Oh.
And then on the back, it's got more national hotline numbers and
Mm-hmm.
mental health resources. And then this one was pretty new. I like this little business card size one.
Yes, very cute.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's got more information, more mental health information, and then Discord as well.
Very
where you can
nice.
find us.
Mm-hmm.
And then some more of the little fun things. We always include Pokemon cards to take that
Oh, wow,
good
that's a
energy
big one.
with you.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just the little energy cards. Sometimes you get water, sometimes you get electric. And it's really funny to see people at the
Mm-hmm.
booth. They want to get the right Pokemon card. And they're like, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm like, no.
that's what I was saying. I know what the Pokemon collectors are.
Yes. I'm like, no, it's important. You got to take the right energy with you, you know?
Yes.
And then we
Very
also
much.
have little buttons. We have a little no face button.
Oh, yes, cute. Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a keychain one, but I don't have one of those with me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's all of what's in an anime therapy kit.
Right. So with these anime therapy kits, how have they been, I guess, the reception of them? Like, how have people gravitated toward them?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. Like, of course, people are like, free? Like, I'm at a convention and you're
Oh,
offering
right.
free stuff? But it's like, yes, like, take it with you. And then
Mm-hmm.
people kind of look at it, they see it, and they're like, this is really incredible. And we get parents, we get counselors, we get
Mm-hmm.
teachers. We even had like librarians who are like, oh, like, I have a really small anime club at my library. Can I take a couple of these to
Nice.
give to like the members? And we're like, absolutely. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that we're really hoping to get going more is like a program for like schools, clubs, libraries,
Yes.
where they can request these things in bulk from us. That's one of our like
Yeah.
bigger goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's amazing, and a way to also get into the anime clubs and create programs in schools. Because if there's a way to build, one thing I know, like when we had programs in schools and we invited outside small businesses to come and talk about their companies with students, it was always about finding that message that's going to gravitate toward them. And I think with Anime for Humanity, it's just the aspect of social emotional well-being, which is a very big goal for schools now nationwide, and especially now post-pandemic and during this whole COVID process. How are we able to connect with the students, connect with their parents? And I think through this Anime for Humanity, it's a great, connection with, builder of like helping students to understand this process of
Yeah.
their mental health well-being, this whole process of going back to school, and then for parents to understand like why they're watching the anime and how they connect to it in this level.
Yeah. And I think you just remind me of a story. It was one of the first times that I volunteered at the booth with Anime for Humanity. There was a dad, and he was like, I need to go find my daughter. She needs this. And so he comes back with his daughter, and he was just like, here, like, look at this. And like, she kind of like, I could tell she was kind of shy. And of course she's like, oh, dad, like she was a teenager.
Yes.
And so after she like got her kid with her friends, and they like went off to explore the con some more, he was just really like, I'm really happy this is here, because I feel like she's struggling, and I'm her dad. She doesn't want to talk to me, about these sort of things. And he's like, it's just really nice to know that there's people out there who are willing to listen to her for her to have those kind of conversations with. And like, that's
Right.
one of those experiences that like, it always sticks with me.
Yeah, I think that's a teacher moment right there, you know, and anyone can have a teacher moment and experience that, especially when the parents come up to you and know that they don't have all the answers, and especially at that teenage phase, but
Yeah.
they know their child loves anime, and this is the place to go to. This is where you're gonna feel, you know, feel together with that culture that you enjoy so much.
I'm also working on a program like for therapists and counselors who maybe don't know a lot about anime, but they want to educate themselves and learn what anime is, learn the basics of it, and also how it could be an important tool with their clients. So that's something that we're working on, as well as not just like the anime fan community aspect of it, but educating professionals as well, who, like I said, maybe need a little quick bullet points, a little Q&A on what is anime.
Yeah, so with the anime therapy kits, how have you been with the pandemic? Is there any way that people could request anime kits, whether it's for their school program or whether it's for their conventions?
So we did have them open for a little bit online, but we did have to close those requests down for the moment because we don't have the supplies at the moment. Printing, production, it's all been slower than like we would like to expect. Shipping. So the requests are closed, but people are free, of course, to contact us, and they can find out information on how to contact us on our website or through social media. That way we at least know that you're interested, and we can respond and let you know kind of that time window when we're expecting to have more kits. So, because we're, like I said, we're updating them. We're going to have new ones, and those will be ready to ship hopefully by the end of the year. Fingers crossed.
Yes. So with that, I know now we're all shifting from physical events and things like that into digital, so virtual events. So what are some Anime for Humanity virtual events that have been done or planned to do?
Let me see. We've done all of our like fundraising campaigns have been online, of course, like through Twitch. But Crunchyroll Expo actually starts. Yes, I saw that. Was awesome. Yes, and we have 2 panels. They gave us 2 slots. It's incredible. And one of those panels on Friday is actually anime therapy, and we had 2 incredible doctors, Dr. G and Dr. Ryan Kelly, come and talk about what I was kind of just mentioning briefly from a therapist perspective, like how they as therapists use anime in their sessions with their clients, and kind of some tips and tricks on how you as a therapist or as a mental health professional could also use anime or talk about anime. Or your client approaches you and starts talking about it, like how you could respond to that. So that's a panel that I was on, and I'm very excited for people to see it. And then on Saturday, our podcast host actually talked with a cosplayer about mental health and cosplay.
Oh, awesome. That's great. As far as Anime for Humanity, my last 2 questions always wrap up with the ACG Social Mixer Network. So we always try to find a way to collaborate, connect creatives and fans of all anime, comic, gaming, cosplay culture. So for Anime for Humanity, how has networking and collaboration helped Anime for Humanity?
It's connected us with a lot of really nice people, like the doctors who we just had on the panel, Dr. Ryan Kelly, Dr. G. That was all through networking, through social media. So we've gotten like the professional aspect of it, because of course, like as mental health advocates, it's nice to hear from mental health professionals that we're doing good work, and to get that confirmation from them. So, and then of course, being able to speak with them, interview them, get their input that we could then source to as like, this is recommended from a doctor, and then of course, fun, like networking, getting people who can fundraise for us. I mean, a lot of people like to do their charity streams online. They're usually very successful too. I've seen a lot of people choose not only Anime for Humanity, but other nonprofits as well. And within those communities too, like people are able to choose a nonprofit that really fits them, fits their community, really hits home for them. So fundraising opportunities, networking and collaborating has really like benefited us in that way as well.
Yeah, I think that's very important when you can find like just those simple connections and then branch out from there as well, and build with that. Build with start with those pieces and go from there. So, Mary, Anime for Humanity, I do thank you so much for joining us on this segment. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Anime for Humanity? And also, where can people follow Anime for Humanity? But I also see, before we go, I see there's that Anime for Humanity merchandise you're wearing.
So, yeah, I was about to say, this is one of our older shirts. I'm trying to remember if we have this one still up on the shop, but we had... it's a gaming is my therapy. We also had one that says anime is my therapy, manga is my therapy, cosplay is my therapy.
Nice.
So this is one of our shirt designs. Hopefully we'll be bringing it back and reviving the merch store soon. We just went through a big overhaul. We grew from 6 volunteers to 30. So we have so many teams right now, so many tasks we're delegating. We're getting so much done. It's really exciting. But where you can find Anime for Humanity, you can of course find us on all social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We just got a TikTok recently, and we've been posting like anime recommendations. One of our TikTok managers posted a really nice like self-journaling TikTok and like how that's like helped her, and it's like an anime journal. It's really pretty. It's really cool. And then, of course, we have our Discord community, discord.gg/anime for humanity, where you can come in, talk anime, talk cosplay. People have been sharing their progress pics of their cosplays. It's really fun to see. Share your achievements. No achievements too small. We celebrate them all. And, of course, talk about the good days and the bad days as well.
Right, yes, definitely agree with all that. And I'll have the links to all those social media platforms in the description. But Mary, it's been a pleasure, and with Anime for Humanity, those of you who do join later, please follow Anime for Humanity. Also check out their Crunchyroll panels this Friday and this Saturday. Thank you so much, Mary. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. We really appreciate it.
Okay, you take care. Everyone, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.